friends, it's Gina Holiday. I am back with a video. It has been a little over a year. Life has been lifing. After my book launched, I actually got another book deal. And so for the past year, I have been working on a series of 3 books that will come out next fall. On top of that, we bought a home, we found a house that we loved, and we moved. And so there's just been so many things happening. It has been a whirlwind just with working on books. Sometimes I get really stuck. I get stuck in my head, I overthink, I have creative block. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about creative block and just tips and tools that can help you along the way. So during this video, I'll also be sharing some behind the scenes of a big wholesale order I'm working on. I will be painting trinket dishes as well as bagging tote bags and getting product ready to ship out. So enjoy. So what is creative block? Creative block is described as like a barrier to your inspiration or creativity. To me, it feels like you can't move forward in the process. You're stuck, or maybe you're short on ideas or unsure of which direction that you want to take whatever you're creating. And so you find yourself not able to put more things down on the page or paint or get out of your head. So I've been an illustrator professionally for about 9 years. So I've had my fair share of moments where I've felt completely stuck in the creative process. So today I'm going to share 5 strategies that I have used over the years that really help me when I'm feeling creatively stuck. So the first one I want to talk about today is changing your environment. What I have found as someone who works from home pretty much 90% of the time is that sometimes when I'm in the same space creating day after day, I can lose inspiration just based on where I am working. Now, we're not all going to have pretty spaces to create out of every day, but you can switch it up here and there by choosing a different space in your home. If you have a studio, working from there, heading to a coffee shop, if you have like admin things or you want to bring a travel sketchbook or something with. I would even go as far to say that you don't have to be going to a new environment to create. You can just put yourself into a new space. Sometimes visiting a museum, going for a walk, getting out of the place that the physical place that you feel stuck can help. And sometimes when you're in new environments, you can start to see like new things that inspire you. The other day I went to the thrift store and just walked around, and I actually really didn't want to be at the thrift store, but something told me to just like go and stop there and just see what they have. And they actually had a couple things that I probably should go back and get. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how just being surrounded by different objects, ideas, can get you out of like a place you were in physically, mentally, and kind of help you to work through creative block. So the next idea that I have tried and want to share is creating in a new medium or like trying a new creative skill. And what I mean by that is like if as a digital illustrator, I sometimes have to get off of my iPad and start making with my hands again. Sometimes just working with a different medium, like instead of digital illustration, maybe it's clay, maybe it's watercolor or acrylics. or something completely non-art related altogether. What I've found is that challenging myself to create in something that I'm not as familiar with is often really helpful to getting out of a stuck place in my creativity. So, for example, the trinket dishes that you see me working on in this video were actually inspired by getting out of my head and creating in a new medium. Last year, I wanted to make pottery. I wanted to just do something. I was kind of getting stuck from my digital illustration work, and I wanted to try something new. And so I actually found these clay pots and terracotta dishes and bought some so that I could just practice creating in a new medium. And not only did it help me kind of get out of the creative rut that I was in, as I started making them, I found so much joy in creating them. I began to share them and saw a lot of interest from a lot of the people that support my work, and it actually turned into an opportunity for my business just by trying a new medium and trying something new. Okay, so creative challenges is something that helps me all the time. If I want to get out of a creatively stuck place, if I feel like I'm in a creative block, I come up with like a 30-day challenge or like a 7-day challenge for myself. It's not, you can find prompts from other people and other artists that are doing things, and sometimes that helps, but you don't have to. You can make your own. One year I did a creative challenge where I just made illustrations over photos that I was taking around my life, my kids, my home, everything. And I just was like, I'm just gonna illustrate on top of these. And I called it # the magic of illustration. You can look it up and look back to see what I made. But sometimes it's just like telling myself that I can still create and I can still do things. Maybe not on this project right now, I'm feeling stuck, but I still have the ability to create. So make yourself a creative brief, come up with a list of prompts, and challenge yourself to just keep showing up. The next one I would say is very important, and it's probably the first one you should do before all of these other ideas that I've given you. Take a nap. Sometimes we just need to stop. We need to take a break. We need to lay down, go to sleep, get a snack, eat, hydrate ourselves, take care of yourself. Because trying to just push through isn't always going to be the answer. Breaks help me more when I'm in a mentally like a peaceful, calm place. It's a lot easier for me to create than if I'm just trying to push through and hustle my way to the finish line. That doesn't always work for me. So one of the things that I'm packing today are these totes, and they have just like one of my best-selling designs. It's called the Unity. It has, I think there's 13 girls on here, 14 girls. So I'm just like bagging them in separate bags, and then gonna put my little logo stickers on there. They're just so cute. I just love them. So cute. I love them. the last, I don't know that it's a tip, but it's a tool that I use to kind of get out of my head every morning. I journal. I love to write. And so every morning I write. I kind of like brain vomit on my paper. In my journals, I'll just kind of let it all out of like what I'm feeling, how I'm processing different things. Often my journals turn into prayers. And so I'm like kind of praying to God, but then I'm also kind of like working through things in my mind. And just having that moment to let everything out every day is super helpful to me to lay it all down and then go into whatever I'm creating with like a clear mind, fresh perspective. So that is another thing that you can try. So I have to share a story with you that actually inspired this video. For the past year, I have been working on a book deal that I got that is 3 books. I have felt like in my personal creative work and in like my shop and the things that I really love to pour into, I'm not sure what to give or how to give there because I've just been depleted in this other area. And so one really interesting thing that kind of changed it all for me was once I submitted and I was finally done with a really, really heavy part of the process. I didn't feel creative and I took a while to just kind of chill and not create. But just in my quiet time with God and my worship, I just really felt like this push to just take the whole month of August and create just to create. Create for the joy of creating. Create because it was a gift that has been given to me and I can use it. Draw and make things just for my home, just for my people, just for the things in my life. And I took that challenge. I just was for the entire month of August, I am just gonna make for the sake of making. I'm going to create for the purpose of creating. I'm going to do it from a place of joy. And it was really hard in the beginning. I remember getting up and drawing in my sketchbook, not having much to draw or not having ideas, writing the same things over and drawing the same things over and being this is not going anywhere. And then as I began to move and gained momentum in the moving of making things, I started to see that I started to get inspired of things. In that whole month, I just focused on showing up. It didn't have to be good. It didn't have to be perfect. And it didn't have to have a purpose attached to it. All I had to do was show up. And that took the pressure off of me to have to be productive and perform, and allowed me to open up myself again to just creating and enthralling myself into the process of creativity. So I was watching this video and on it was an interview with Seth Godin, who talks about how creativity block is a myth. But as I watched the video more, I will say that I actually did agree with what he was saying. So what he points out is that it's not really creative block that you're experiencing. It's this idea that what you create won't be perfect. It won't be good enough. He says something like, surely you can create bad work. You're not really stuck. You can make things. You might make poor things, but you can still make things. And I actually really love that idea. So I agree with that, but I also know what it feels like to feel stuck and feel blocked from good ideas. Just knowing how difficult it was for me to be in that stuck space for so long, I knew I had to share my story with you all and just encourage you on your journey of creating, of writing, of making, of showing up, whatever you're doing in whatever way that looks like. Sometimes you're gonna feel stuck, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Just put something down, keep showing up, take some of these tips and apply them if you've never tried any of them. I hope that all of that was super helpful for you, or has at least sparked some ideas for you of how to get out of your head and create. I'd love to hear your ideas around what gets you out of a creative block. And I think that if you share those in the comments, that would actually be helpful to others that are watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed, beautiful day.